Politics is like chess, all right? So if you think about the fact that you are either the white or the black pieces, your aim over a 3-year term is to win the game, to get re-elected and to set up the game again for the next term or 3 years. And so the opposing forces against you are a combination of things, and they're not simply the opposing parties that sit across you in Parliament. For this particular case, when I'm sitting down, let's just say with my white pieces, the black pieces compose of Labour Party, the Greens and Te Pāti Māori, but they also, the black pieces are the media, the mainstream media of this country, who hate this government with a passion, not only because they think that New Zealand made a dreadful mistake in last October, but also everything that this government talks about is anathematic to their worldview and ideologies, so the media, and then the bureaucrats of Wellington as well. So it's quite a strong opposition if you think about it. You've got political parties, you've got the mainstream media who control or have a large influence in the information flow that goes out to the voters. And then you've also got the civil service bureaucrats, 16,000 of whom probably won't have jobs if this government says it's going to do, well, does what it says it's going to do in that respect at the end of this term. All right, so now, if you think of the king, the white king, as the government, so that's what you're trying to make sure stays alive, then the chess pieces suggest themselves, and that is the Prime Minister, Christopher Luxon, is the Queen, all-powerful, move on any squares, go right, go left. But one thing they can't do, I'll talk about that a little bit later, the rooks, that's those that exist on, but also very powerful, but they move straight up and down, and they're pretty, and at your peripheries, they're your outlier parties. David Seymour is your left rook, and Winston Peters is your right rook, although they can interchange. But they're very powerful, can go straight over the line, and they can bulldoze things over. They can only go in a straight line, though. They're quite linear, but they're strong on that linear line. Now, the knights, the bishops, they are the sort of elegant ones, but they're also powerful, obviously, and they can command spaces on a diagonal level, depending upon what they do. So I would say to you that the bishops for Christopher Luxon's National Party are Erica Stanford, who's the education spokesperson, Shane Retty, the health spokesperson. Now the knights. Now they're a bit funny, the knights, because they're weak and yet they're strong. Knights can do something that no other piece can do, and they can move 2 and 1 or 1 and 2. They can move in slightly erratic ways, and they can take you unaware. And suddenly, but on their own, they're also a bit vulnerable sometimes. They can be picked off a little bit easier than you think they can. All right? But nevertheless, they're a bit erratic, but they're quite exciting. So Shane Jones is an obvious knight. And another knight that I would have there would be, I was just thinking it would be like someone like Paul Goldsmith, but no, it'd be more like someone like Brooke Van Velden, the ACT Party deputy leader. So and then the pawns, that string of pawns that are sort of weak but en masse can move quite well. They are the rest of the cabinet ministers. And what I am suggesting is that over the last couple of weeks, Penny Simmons, the Minister for the Environment and apparently the Minister for Disabilities, she's already been knocked out. So they've already captured her. She's been captured by her department. She's now a minister of her department. She's made a whole series of snafus since she's been there. She won't come on in front media on a number of issues, despite actually agreeing to come on and then being pulled off, because she's under the control of her departments and the staffers who work in offices. So she's already off the board, all right? So she's gone, all right? And that is the chess analogy. So at the end of 3 years, it'll be interesting to see how this works. Remember, you are taking pieces on the other side. So News Hub, which was a knight, the two knights on the other side, and News Hub and TVNZ News, 2VNZ. News Hub's already out. Now, you've captured a knight. In actual fact, this was a knight that committed suicide. So you didn't even have to threaten it, for God's sake. You didn't have to even mass your pawns or anything in that direction. Didn't have to, because it has actually committed suicide. So isn't it nice? The Black Knight is gone, or going. Just like, and typically for the media, not going anything other than dying slowly. I know. It's sort of like you're watching a melodrama, or alternatively you're watching an opera. You know how no one dies in an opera without deciding to have a final song? Well, that's what News Hub's like. But hey, it doesn't matter. I don't care. You commit suicide, that's good. You're off. So at the moment, you'd have to say the government's up. They've lost a pawn, Penny Simmons. She's been taken already. But there's a knight over there that's committed suicide. And as we all know, knights are more important than pawns. So that's how the chess game's going. We'll keep this analogy going for the next 3 years and just see. But there will be casualties on all sides. And we will see at the end of the day, in 3 years' time, or 2.5 years' time now on election day, one of the knights, or the kings will be checkmated. And we'll see which one it is. Okay? So, there's my analogy. This is chess. And the game is well underway. And already there have been casualties.